Hey, how's it going, everyone? Here with a little bit of a different video today. Hope everybody's having a happy new year. It's New Year's weekend, and I want to do a couple videos today to kind of do a recap of my year. Not necessarily what new purchases I've made. You guys have seen all those, but more of kind of a reflection on what I carried through this year. So for this video, I'm going to do a top three my most carried knives for the year, and then one's going to be an honorable mention. The top three were all pretty even for me, so I'm not going to do any particular order. I'm just going to kind of show you what made sense to me and kind of what was in my pocket. Regardless of what I kind of set out to do, what ended up in my pocket the most. So the first one is my Chris Reeve Knives Umnumzon, and this is the Tanto bad deployment. Let's try that again. There we go. This is the Tanto version with the I got a mirror polished edge done by a local knife shop. They did a great job on it. Super wicked sharp. You can tell I've been using it because it's got some scratches in the polish there. This knife for me, I just don't know what it is about the aesthetic of the Umnumzon. It's sleek. It's kind of chunky looking, kind of beefy. Kind of gives me this overbuilt tactical type look, if you will. Especially with the Tanto blade, but at the same time, it's just super elegant, and I just find it in my pocket, whether I'm going out to dinner or going to the office, whatever the case may be, it just finds its way into my pocket a lot. This one has the really cool backspacer on it that's aftermarket. The clip's the same. I haven't really changed anything else on it other than the mirror polish, but I just love how quiet this knife is to operate, how silky smooth it is and hydraulic. Mine is not very free. It takes some strength to get it out. If you're gonna like kind of flick it, you can do it, but you really got to put some force into it. This is definitely more of a knife that I think is better to just kind of slowly wheel out with your thumb. Beautiful knife. I got this secondhand from my buddy Jason, and I've really been loving it and used it a lot. It's definitely got a lot of snail trails on it, but this is exactly how I like it. I love that I can feel like I can use this knife without being worried about scratching it all up. And you guys know the Umnumzon. There's tons of videos on YouTube about it, but yeah, this is one that I just carried a ton this year. So super awesome. Glad I have it. Definitely a keeper in my collection, and this one is just a perfect example. Yeah, so that's the Umnumzon. That's the first one on my list. Second on my list that found its way to my pocket is not going to be a big surprise. The Spyderco Leash buoy. This one is just, and everybody else says the same thing, it is just the pinnacle of an EDC knife, in my opinion, and in many other people's opinions, obviously. That's why they cost a fortune if you can find one, and they don't go up for sale very often. This is the Knife Joy exclusive in M390 with a satin blade. I also got a mirror polish on this. I've been getting mirror polishes done on all my carry knives. One, you know, having your knife sharpened, at least on the resale, takes away some value, I think, versus having it new in box. I like getting ones that I know I want to keep forever sharpened almost immediately, because it's an incentive for me to make sure I keep it in my collection. And I have a habit of selling things in the past that that I wish I would have held on to. So that's kind of my methodology. I also use my knives for opening packages and things like that a lot more than I use it for cutting rope. So that toothy edge that comes on a knife is typically not as useful to me as a mirror polished edge. I also like the aesthetic of it. So that's kind of my way of thinking, and I've got a local shop that does it really, really well. I've done some myself. This one I had them do, but they're honestly so affordable, and they do them in the guy who does them, he does them so often that I feel like he's just really knows what he's doing a little bit better than I do. So I have no problem supporting my local shop and giving them knives. But Spyderco Leash buoy, beautiful. This is a great example, perfect in every way, silky smooth. I like this, how thin it is in my pocket, and I love the deep carry clip. A lot of people would scoff at a wire clip that looks like a paper clip, but I love it. I think it carries very comfortably and very secure, and there's very little sitting out of the pocket. And honestly, this is where your knife, at least for me, gets beat up the most, is just hitting into things when it's riding in my pocket. And with a clip like this, you don't see as much wear like you do with a clip like a full titanium clip that gets scratched up and stuff. So this could have scratches on it, but you're not going to see them as apparently. So I bought this one secondhand, and it's a beautiful example. Super lucky. The guy gave me a decent deal on it. I've had the original all grayed out with the CTS XHP before and sold it. I don't really regret it because I sold it for such a high amount when these knives just exploded and the market was just going crazy for them. So I sold mine and used that money to probably invest into something else. So I do miss it, but I honestly love this blue one. It's a great example, like I said. So super happy about it. If I get an opportunity to pick up the original again, I probably will at some point, as long as it's not a crazy price. It's just not worth it to me like it is to some other guys. So love this one. It's been in my pocket a lot this year, and I just find this to be a phenomenal knife. This is made out of Spyderco's Taiwan plant, which most of their higher end stuff kind of comes from. So just a great example. If you're a lefty, you're definitely gonna have a problem with this knife. That's probably the biggest knock against it. You can Spidey flick it if you can get your finger in there, but it's a tight squeeze on the other side. So beautiful knife. Man, it's just the ultimate EDC in my opinion. Not too big, not too small. I could go on forever about it. Next, this year was a big year for carrying OTFs. I carried a lot of different OTFs. This is just an example instead of throwing them all in the camera. This is the UTX 70. This is a signature series because it is a hellhound blade. Beautiful knife. The hellhound blade just does it for me. That aesthetic is just so cool. The grind is extremely wedgy, so it's not a great cutter. Definitely good for opening envelopes and packages and things like that. Not for it's not a major hard use knife. It's super tiny compared to this is it open compared to the Bowie, so you can see how small that guy is. I carried these a lot. The UTX 70s, I've got a couple of those. I carried the Ultratech, Hellhound. The Combats, I didn't carry that much this year. I've actually sold a few of those just because I don't carry them very often. They're just so big and chunky in the pocket, but this size was perfect. This went with me to the office a lot this year. This one and my other 70s. They are just a great carry size, especially if you're just going to be in the office all day. Your cutting tasks are going to be minimal. This is so small that it's kind of like a toy to most people. So if you open it up, at least in my office, it's not going to scare anybody or freak anybody out. Because it's just so dang small. A pair of scissors would probably be more dangerous than this, but as you can see, it's tiny. But I think it's just a cool knife. These are more readily available. The Hellhounds, if you look, most of the retailers have the Hellhounds and the Warhounds available for you to pick up. And the UTX 70, again, it just carries so well. It's a deep carry clip. It disappears in the pocket. It's super lightweight. But it also, the pride of ownership and the enjoyment factor of carrying it is just really high for me. So it's just cool to have a Hellhound in this small of a package. So carried that a lot. I would say that is a very good representation of the three knives that I probably carried the most. I'm not a guy that carries the same knife for like weeks at a time. I alternate quite a bit, but I do think those are in my pocket the most. Honorable mention for me is going to be my pickup that I got. I think this and the UTX is the only knives that I actually picked up this year that's in this kind of video. The Unamzon and the Spyderco I think I got maybe last year, the year before, but This one I picked up over the summer, and it has been phenomenal. The deadlock I got in on a drop directly from PVK Vegas and bought it immediately. They had one in stock, so I picked it up, and it's been just awesome. So definitely a little bit chunkier of a knife. Let's compare it to an Zahn just for reference. Definitely a little bit thicker in the pocket, especially with that clip. I've done a video on this one, so you guys can watch that. The clip is definitely keeps some of the knife out of the pocket. If you see, that's kind of where your jeans end, probably around there, so that much out of your pocket. And it's thick, but from wearing jeans or something like that, or going out on a date night, I'll grab this guy, especially in the winter wearing jackets and stuff. It's an easy carry, so I carried this one a decent amount, and it's just a sick knife. I mean, if you like OTFs, this is your grail. You're looking at it. This is the one. Microtechs and stuff are awesome. Heretics are awesome. The Grant and Gavin Hawk deadlock, it's just a different level. The action is silky smooth, effortless to push out, a lot easier than a Microtech. And what makes it famous is the deadlock, meaning the blade has no play whatsoever, which is very difficult. I've got some tape on there, as you can see, which is difficult to do in an OTF. It's difficult to get the action to where it can, slide out freely enough to be actuated by those springs, but also lock up securely. And the way that the deadlock is set up has just been done very, very well, executed very well. I'm trying to remember the steel of this one. Honestly, I can't. For some reason, I want to say it's 20 CV. I think it's 20 CV. I don't have the paperwork here, and it's not. I don't think that they tell you on the blade. Oh, there it is right there. Perfect. 20 CV. Yep. So there's the patent number, or the model is the Model C deadlock. There's a Model A and a Model B. This is the latest version. Mine's 2022, obviously. I picked it up this year. And that carbon fiber just looks phenomenal. Beautiful knife. Love it. Super glad to have it in my collection. And yeah, it's if you guys are OTF fans, definitely check them out. They're definitely pricey. I think I paid around $1,500 for this one, and that was straight off their website, so essentially MSRP. But beautiful knife, very happy to have it. Don't see me getting rid of it. All of these are just phenomenal knives in their own respect, all very different, all very unique. But yeah, beautiful blades. Let me know, guys, in the comments what you guys carried the most this year. Next year, what am I going to get into? I've really been in a phase of less is more with my collection, so I'm trying to offload a lot of things that I don't find myself carrying, or things that are more readily available, and replacing them with things of greater quality that are going to stand kind of the test of time, that are really never going to, fads come and go. And I understand there's a lot of really hot knives right now, but these are knives, in my opinion, that have stood the test of time. A lot of these deadlock, this is the most recent version, but all these knives have been around for a long time. They have constant value, I feel, and I'm trying to take my collection to the next level as far as only getting things that I feel are going to stand that test of time, and they're going to have intrinsic value in those pieces, versus something that's kind of a dime a dozen, if you will. So that's kind of my methodology for the next year. You'll see that in a lot of my videos of the types of things that I'm picking up. Trying not to get as involved in just the current fads, but things that I feel are going to be around for a long time. So the Gray Man Dua video that I did a while back, that knife came out back in maybe 2013, 2014, something like that. My version came out then. I think it was actually introduced a lot later, earlier than that. I'm sorry. And that's a great representation of just a classy knife that was made with purpose, and is not too flashy. There's nothing unnecessary about it. And so picking up things like that, if that makes sense, that's kind of the direction I'm going. That way, with everything from watches to knives to I'm into fragrances too. I want to try to get into doing more videos on that. You know, audio equipment, things like that. So anyways, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please, in the comments, let me know what your guys' most carried knives were this year, what you think of the ones that I ended up carrying the most. And I look forward to doing more videos in the coming year. Please hit the like button if you're not subscribed. I would really appreciate it. We're getting really close to that 1,000 subscription mark, which is a big deal for me and is highly motivating, and I would really like to see the channel grow a lot in this next year. So please hit that like button and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. See ya.